Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pannonian Avars series in the Khaganite. And this is 992, so we're getting close to the turn of the century here. But of course, my main priority for the next couple episodes, as it has been, is to get newer innovations. And of course, by 996, we will get public works, which will have the counties now reach the maximum existing development penalty at 20, which will definitely help a little. Even though I still wish to be on par with the Greeks, which every time, I mean, their current fascination is Arch Saddle, and yet when I look at this, like see it over there, 98% chance to gain 0.5 each month, and they have a higher percentage of fascination as compared to us Avars of only 55, and the exposure is 40% if you were to share the religion as the Lithuanian Anglo-Saxons, which is, I believe, that is a separate culture entirely up there. Alright, where are they? Because I'm only going to be looking at them as an, you know, as an example. I mean, they have this. And they would have had more if they shared the same religion as the Greeks. They only have interest in that. Now again, I'm looking at them as an example, but not you know, the one I'm looking for. Regarding, you know, culture. Anyways. But anyways, you get the idea. That I'm starting to think that being Orthodox may not have been as beneficial as I thought it would be regarding innovations. I only converted this in the first place because of that holy site there that does give some degree of cultural fascination for all Orthodox people, including us, to get ahead of time with this. But let's say if I were Catholic and I would be sharing that same religion as those Lothian Anglo-Saxons over there, it would have given us a big boost at fascination. And yet compared to them, which have 93, and if they were Catholic, and they would have gained this a little faster progress. And we're not getting that, so... But there are other alternatives of how to get more newer innovations. Originally, I thought the Greek would be the way, but I've come to the realization that it's going to take a very long time to gain that cultural acceptance. And the other issue is that obviously she isn't going to be around for long, but don't worry about the constant toothache, she'll be out of here. She'll be, I should say she'll feel better, not be out of here. I mean, I don't want her to be out of there. Goes for diplomacy education, which reminds me, knowing her, if she were to take a diplomatic route. Doesn't say anything about cultural acceptance as compared to one in learning here with the open-minded. Really, you're at war with Bulgaria. She wants the whole duchy back. Because that is technically part of Byzantium, but it is Bulgarian controlled. So she wants all of this, but unfortunately, that's where the Greek-speaking population lives. And I had possibly considered about expanding to there. Expanding our Khaganate to there. Yes. Like I was thinking about taking this and this. But depending on the outcome of the conflict, and knowing she's going to hire mercenaries for that kind of amount of money, then it's likely that she'll prevail. But she could bring an ally along. Actually, no, that's part of... But you get the idea. So we'll just have adopt a wait and see. And if you become too impatient, there is one other culture that would be very easy to hybridize with. The Vlach. Because they already have public works. And this and that. And they already fully accept us because of them being, you know, culture blending, just like us. And xenophilic as well. I mean, they're on their way to the early medieval era now. Whereas Croatian over there, while there's very little acceptance between us and them because Saracens pretty much took their place. And they're also on their way. And we'll fully accept them. Hell, why don't we just hybridize with them instead of doing with the Greeks, despite the fact that they... Look, let me show you. If we had the culture acceptance, we would discover all 7 of their innovations, and including these, the ones that I do not have. And I find it very attractive. And yet, compare that to them, and if I want to hybridize them, I'd be getting these as well. In fact, that'd be 100% all of their remaining innovations. But I wouldn't have Galvokind. No. So I guess the Sarician would be that one I would hybridize with, even though it's kind of a strange hybrid culture name. Again, it don't cost you much because of your traditions as, you know, culture blending. Again, it's just an idea. So would you rather hybridize them and then you'll get all of this rather than 3 Vlach? Or do you want to, you know, there's that saying, grin and bear it, and wait for the culture acceptance to be at least 40, which would take, about decades. Although I could be over-exaggerating, but it says yearly gain, so yes, decades. But the yearly losses decay towards baseline, and this is the baseline if it's exceeded. Shared heritage, shared language, faith and religion, shared ethos within the same region. The region being Balkans. Radhanites are already in early medieval. But if I want to hybridize with them, which we have no contact with them, but fortunately they are. So let's, in theory, if I were to hybridize with them, I'd be gaining 5. But there's only one county there. And it's currently owned by Alanya. But that's 2 from within the realm. And another one from out there. Guess we should stop the Greek way and go take the Radhanite route. The real question is, how long have they been there? I mean, they don't have no cultural head. But what we know about them is they're diasporic, so they do not have a negative opinion towards other cultures, so they like us very much. Same to them, that's their custom. They also have a philosopher culture, and learning education traits and scholarship. It also gives cultural fascination programs. I think that's rather attractive to me, because we've always wanted to get ahead of time. Also, maritime mercantilism. That's for them because they live over there. And I don't think there's any other culture in the world where Radhanites live other than this one. They're xenophilic, which would help them less. No negative opinion of other cultures, same to them. And they also have defensive tactics, because that's part of their Israelite heritage, which they have the Shoma, men-at-arms. Okay, now you convinced me. We should go to them instead. With the acceptance baseline, keep that well in mind. They are a completely different people, but they are the nice kind of people. And if I want to hybridize them, I think adopting a philosopher culture as one of its traditions seems like a very attractive offer. I mean, after all, we wish to be warlike, but you know what? How long would it take for you to fabricate a claim in this area? 2 years. And your current progress? Listen, it's going to take an eternity to have to convert a county. How long are you going to be around for? Ah, of course, you're temperate. Yeah, I could wait 2 years. Do what you gotta do. And what are those Georgians like? They're in the early medieval. 5 versus 5. Plus, we live nowhere near Georgian lands. Despite the name of the country, it's ruled by a Georgian. It will remain so for some time, as it is a duchy tier realm. Despite the fact that we want no disturbance with them, but there's a piece of Radhanite land that I want. And when I have Tumatarakan, which this area is wetlands, we will appoint a Radhanite vassal, just to make him like us even more. You can keep up with the cultural acceptance. Just keep it up as you were. And of course, wars are expensive, so if I was you, then I suggest you don't spend any money at all for the next 2 years. Build up your war chest. Alright, you're out of prison and you're going to be serving as one of the knights. Because you have talent. I'm usually opposed to expansion, but now we have a new reason to. It's from a completely different culture. Akgul, fortune builder. Genius. Oh, that reminds me. Thank you for reminding me. There's this thing where... Oh, by the way, I just noticed that this little skull on the side, including that little portrait there, based on rank and landed characters. I see what those icons, that little frames, what it means. By the way, this is the new version. Now, this is the first episode of the brand new version of CK3, which is 1.5.1. And all of the mods that I like to use for this series are up to date. And so there you have it. So they've done plenty of changes, unless you're in some other playthrough, but try not to overthink. Again, what am I here for? Krum. My son and heir, Krum. While skill-wise he looks like he's very good for a man of intrigue education, but there is one major flaw. That man is honest, that's virtuous. He's ambitious, and he's paranoid. Look at the stress gain. Plus 100% for being paranoid, and plus 25, so 125 plus percent of each stress gain. And him being honest is a major flaw. Like, say, if you were to assassinate somebody like this one, you would gain 20 stress because I am honest. That's one thing, right? Even though I am a bit arbitrary, which lowers the stress gain. I mean, that's one thing, right? But can you imagine that my son, a man of intrigue, despite the fact that he would be very good at scheming and all that, but if he tries to scheme something, and him being honest, let's say the thought of murdering somebody would cause him to have a mental break. I don't want that. And I kind of jumped the gun regarding disinheriting Prince Kurt here. Prince Kurt. Even though he's a genius like the rest of these children. But as stated before, major flaw. And that is, again, talking about Krum. So, I'll make it up to you. You'll be restored your inheritance back, while I disinherit you because you are going to be a liability to this whole dynasty. And I will never disinherit another member of this generation again. And so therefore, Prince Kurt, while he may be young, he is going to be the next in line. And I will be the one to raise him. And I'm going to raise him right. I didn't raise Krum personally. I gave it to some other guardian. And it gave him some bad things. Now, I may be 49 years old and I'm still going to be around to at least in my 60s. So, no doubt he'll start his rule very young. Well, not too young, if you know what I mean. But anyways, we'll fabricate a claim to this area. Are there any, no, not this screen, Radhanite characters? It's kind of hard to find. Like, is it possible to find culture? Yes, you can find culture. How do you spell that again? Rad, not Ran. Is there any characters still out there? Oh, plenty. Okay. Do any of you guys used to have claimants in these areas? Because that would be grand. Oopsie daisies. But anyways. There's some Radhanite Jewish and Radhanite Orthodox. Rabbinism. There are some in contact. Could you please stop? I couldn't hit space because I keep hitting this. Anyways. Oh, you know my language. That's good, but there are people with claimants. And it's those two. They used to have their land, and I guess they were taken away by those Georgian occupiers. But there is one grown man. Oh, who's the father of these? Okay. I wish I could bring you over here. But he likes my logic standards. Well, I like to learn the Israelite language. Despite the fact that I am... Well, I was about to say over the limit, but I forgot. Yeah. Speaking the language of the Jewish. And perhaps one day we'll get your land back, unless we appoint a new vassal there. Sure. I've swayed you enough. Oh, and by the way, it also costs money to have that claim fabricated. And there's a reason to save up on that. I mean, it's not too big of a country, so war time will be short. And that's what we want. Take the objective, take their capital, war over. And then we have a new culture to hybridize with. But again, it sounds strange, isn't it? Radhanites Avar. Which would indicate as if we have Jewish heritage, but no. Adopting Judaism would not be a good idea. And by the way, well, it just comes from that. Not only. And yet, when you look at Khazarism, we consider them as evil, and they consider us as evil. So it would not be a good idea to have a Jewish, whatchamacallit, vassal within a Christian Rome. A ruler in the making. There is no end to the options and wants of my son and heir, Kurt. Half of the time, he is trying to tell me what to do instead of the other way around. Formidable or aggravating, it is a fine line to walk. Oh, bossy, huh? I didn't know Samarkand was also a Jewish holy site in addition to Manichaean. Oh, you like that? Anyways. So there'll be Orthodox Christian Radhanites. No Jewish faith, because that'd be bad for business. My business. My piece of business. And as we stated before, I'm an architect now, but man-at-arms maintenance per dread. I only have a small degree of dread. It's like, every little bit helps to reduce the, the man-at-arms maintenance. Because we know that wars are expensive. Especially with the large amount of levies that we have in this ever-expanding country of ours. When my Gala brought the joyous news, I could scarce believe it. My rival, Elamag, has finally perished in my dungeon. To think that I will live in a world free from that knave, and to think that I was the one who brought about it, I am so happy that I could dance. On his shallow grave, all my stress is gone. Their current fascination, despite the fact that nobody is the cultural head until I appoint one, is theirs, while they are exposed to coinage because of the Greeks. But once we appoint the Radhanite Orthodox vassal living in that area, this would definitely help them. And in turn, they give me those innovations, just for hybridizing these people. And also, I would get chronicle writing, which reduces the casus belli cost. So yeah, forget about the Greeks. Try to hybridize them, because, as we stated before, they're much nicer people. It'll take a while, though, because no doubt in the early part of the next century, we will finally be advanced. You know, this looks a little different. Oh, yes. By the way, this is a new update, the way that throne room looks. Now they added some shadows around here. And I'm trying to find what's different other than shadows and those little torchlit things. And once again, I don't see no sandals of Jesus in here. I know the banner's still up here. An adventure inspiration. Who are you? Grazia. Uh, Grazia. Not Grazia. Grazia. She's a Palabian. Slavic pagan. She's a guest at Visegrad. She's shy, wrathful, and trusting. An honorable fool she is. But she has an adventure inspiration and wants to go to Western Europe. Adventure inspiration. So, a character who has an adventure inspiration is inspired to go on a grand adventure and bring you back an artifact. The artifacts gained from this inspiration can vary wildly. It can be anything from a skull of a mighty beast to a stolen heirloom. But she is trusting, so I'll trust her, even if she has a little bit of a hothead. So off you go to Western Europe. Her skill is merely decent. It's a start. See you in 3 years. And remember, we have this dynasty legacy that each time you learn language you gain 1% cultural acceptance. Good start. From now on, those things I will spend renown in the future will be customs. So perhaps just send a letter to him. Just to make dang sure. I keep putting it back to assist ruler because see what it gives? It's fine with that all alone because after all, a genius is married to a genius. So now I know the Israelite language, which is rather useful. There is no yearly gain from now. But I am very attracted of the philosopher culture, which is the same tradition that the Persians have. Keep that well in mind. Months. The time has come for me to depart on my adventure, Khagan. My beneficiary, Grazia, bows as well as she can weighed down by heavy bags. Before I leave, please tell me, is there anything specific you want me to keep an eye peeled for during my journey? I thought you already left, but what would I want? An exotic animal or a skull or a hide? You know what? Give me a moment. Excuse me? I'd like to have some wall ornaments. So I would say bring me something from an exotic animal. A skull or a hide. Put it up there like it's my mantle. So, go get it. Now let's do custom for Bukovina. So, you gave me 50 gold as a gift. Or just act like a jackass, and then... Oh, really? It's like, yeah, it's tyranny, but you lose one opinion. Wow. Well, anyways. Thank you very much. So I wait patiently on my throne for the arrival of Duke Constantine. who was soon announced and ushered before me. He kneels in deference as tenants bring forth his gifts of coin and precious objects. The oath is taken, and scribes record his pledges to serve the Khagan. At last I bid the Duke arise, conferring my satisfaction at Constantine's rights to the lands that rose in my stead. I accept your generous gifts, Constantine. Thank you for the money, and the renown that I will now be getting back after restoring the inheritance of my youngest and disinheriting my eldest. Yeah, you'll never get over it, but if you dare plot against me, I will denounce you. I will denounce you and imprison you. Anyways, there is a rather infamous courtesan named Chichotit. No. Chitilit. Get that. Who settled down at Borsalt where she piles of the trade, so to speak. She's famous even in foreign lands for her talents and beauty. It has helped enhance the mystique of Borsalt to potential travelers. I had the opportunity to meet her when I visited town. She was staying in some official business. As she was invited by the host himself to the feast I attended here, I must admit, she is a charming lady. I mean, she is pretty, but just pretty much tells you that she is experienced in such things. I don't think it'll be a good idea to put. Well, what would my spouse think of me? Despite the fact we had our little bit of issues. But I think it would be wise to have 12 years rather than 10 years. So I'll say famous courtesan lives there. Add a little bit of taxes. She's a cultured courtesan, after all, not some random harlot. Alright, claims fabricated. We can now go to war for it. I mean, we'd be taking a straight crossing from Kerch to Atarakan, which there's only one there. You've got to besiege this way, and then you'll make your way to the capital, and you got him. Of course, that would still put us in the border with Khazaria, which isn't strong right now because of numerous wars, including... They're gonna subjugate them? Oh boy, these guys are gonna be making a comeback. Also, it's no longer ran by Hungarians. It's Russian culture, but they still worship the old Mogiv faith. And looks like it will remain so. There are no landed characters of that culture. They switched. And that means they'll be getting that holy site when they completely subjugate on this part. Well, they'll still have this. Of course, the ever-important Kerch. And those two other areas that they will never come here. It's almost like we just can't get away from these people. Ever since Tuznik fended them off in an epic defensive war that was mainly fought in the Transylvanian region. Now, anyways. This may be an easy war. You can only bring one ally, and that's over in Philippopolis. Which, by the way, what's the situation down there? So you're telling that empire over there to stop raiding you. Ah, you came to an agreement then. Okay then. Let us hope for a short conflict. May have to split the forces in the sense of one force goes over there and the other to the back. All present. Okay. Then we head in to take that area. The rest of you, defend our backyard. But I fear that they're gonna get together anyways. He's not leading an army. So perhaps after we take this area, go straight for the capital and capture him alive. Minting new coinage. It is my right and responsibility to determine what coinage is to be used throughout Kunzakon. The choices I make will determine how the coinage, and by extension my realm, is seen throughout the world. Every single county here will have new silver coins minted, or mint coins I printed in my own vestige, or debase the coinage of inexpensive nickel, which... Good. I know it's against my nature, to be honest, but I can't help it, alright? We need the money for the war effort. So we save a fortune on minting debased coins. So for the next 5 years, we will have developmental growth all over the country. Alright, stop them. So, now what does this mean for capital here? And it's a small part of that. We used to develop the heck out of this area. No, not this screen. Like over the more poor areas. Like say here. Every little bit helps. Actually, they're on retreat, so they're retreating to Kavuna. No, get up there. My liege, adventurer got to sense word. The servant exclaims on our letter. For 10 days and 10 nights, me and my party has been hiding. The bandit lady Elizabeth set a blocking on the road we must travel. What do you advise? Caution? Or should we fight them, trusting Rod to keep us safe? Signed, Grazia. Late Patronage. It seems that she's in quite a predicament. Elizabeth, a French woman who is feeble, but she is the bandit lady. That ain't gonna work. But there's a 0% chance that she might get killed, but the real question is she greedy? Or I will pay my own funds to tell that woman to get out of here. You're a slightly better fighter than her. Have I known something like that would have happened, I would have given her one of my weapons that I hardly ever use anymore. And she is not the sneaking kind. So that would be 100% that she's gonna get caught. I'll just say no guts, no glory. Make them pay for wasting my time. So she's a slightly better fighter than Elizabeth. There's 13% chance that she will kill that woman. And will buzz and cleanse her skull and send it to me as an artifact. But 59% chance that she successfully drives off the bandits while Elizabeth will get wounded. And we'll have some progress with it. 20% chance that she'll get wounded and 0% chance she'll get killed. So, come on, woman, put up a fight against her. She successfully drove off the bandits. Alright, that's good. Chase them down. You could stop that. We've taken the objective. Well, my adventurer is now a valued warlike courtier. So now you know how to fight a little better. But you're not one for sneaking. You prefer a straight fight than all the sneaking around. Stupid idea, but we're going in. Not to mention it pays again. Take out the army, and we're heading to the capital, besiege it, and capture their prince alive. At least I'm not leading any single army out there. I don't have the gumption to do so. I have a son to raise, and money to make. You really need this. Anyways, where are we now? A change of direction. A traveler claiming to be employed under my beneficiary grants was brought before me, carrying a message from the adventurer. Fear not, my great lord, for Grazia is in good health. I bring you news of possibility to fund an even greater adventure. You see, Grazia took a wrong turn. Somewhere is now near Philippolis. What? That's down in the Balkans. Her charming companion unfurls a dirty map to show where they ended up. She has enough funds to make it in Western Europe, but she suggests that additional funding can help chase a local rumor and bring home a great artifact. What is the matter with you? That place is a war zone. That part of the Balkans is a war zone. Western Europe is that way. Now, how did you meet this French bandit lady? In the Balkans, no less. But anyways. But invest 60 more gold in this. But again, the war will soon be over, so we don't have to do that. So I'll just say, life's an adventure. Explore that area for artifacts, or alternately, returns to what she set out to do. Actually, no, she's currently in Moray. That's way up there in Scotland. I am not going to... But it will be of higher quality. Okay, I'll invest then. For God's sakes. Now she's down here, where there's an ongoing war over there. But at least she knows how to handle a fight. In fact, in case you get into any more trouble, here's old Chieftain Chepa's mace. I have no use for it. Make use of it, so you can handle yourself in case you get into trouble again. Yeah, we made an amphibious landing, but it'll be worth it. Not to mention, the man is reckless. Actually, he's the one leading the army. He's not over here. Household savings. Well done. He doesn't have much soldiers now after he got beat up by them. And subsequently, we beat those guys. Head to the forest. Just take their capital. Has he have any heirs? Yes. Actually, the heir is with them on that army there. So they're likely going to go down to Abkhazia. As predicted. Their daughters are still, one of their children is still in Magaz. Capturing some of their children will be good. Vassal tax contribution. This will do. You don't have any of their heirs. But now it's... the cap is at 100, so occupy more territories. So there's still time. Earth ramparts. Get over here. Again, it's way over there, way out of my boundaries. Wait for it. Okay, go. Now it's your turn to besiege the area. We'll engage them in battle. Some got away. 96. We got the Duke. You better pay up. Nature's architects. I receive a message from my adventurers who's been in the crypts lands of the taiga forests. I spent some while surrounded by the finest company of journeywomen could ask for. A colony of beavers. With this courier, I send you a book of sketches of the structures they use to catch fish in the waters. Oh, to be a semi-aquatic room. I am certain that at least Countess Aten could learn a thing or two from an animal cleverer than her. She is now located in Jessica, which is where? Oh, Baltic area. That is in southernmost part of Estonia. Palaces of the Beavers. A book on beaver architecture and construction techniques written up with sketches while you're on their travels. So this Palace of the Beavers was created, and the learning skill is up. But it'll give me a lot more stewardship, and I am a man of stewardship, so I shall pore over this thoroughly. You know what? Get this piece of junk out of here. Building construction time reduction, you got it. What a very interesting artifact. Palaces of the Beavers. How do you like that? Our Chrome actually maimed somebody. The man I disinherited. He's still good for something. A mercenary captain, huh? There's a little bit of loot left. You know what? Besiege it all the way. And then we'll end the war. Okay. And this count who lives there will become my vassal. But to be real honest, you are in the way. Actually, he does not. He's actually out of here. This is part of the Duchy of Azov, referring to the Sea of Azov here. .89 versus the one with the culture that we're promoting. 0.91. Okay, let's make that an example. So if I were to promote cultural acceptance with the Radhanites, then oh! Okay. Despite the fact that we've been making progress with them. But since I fear that she ain't gonna be around for long, and this very slow progress, I think it would be better at all to give with them. Cultural acceptance to it will jump up to 15%. You got it. You're an architect like me. You may be feeling fine and he's feeling lustful. Well, get yourself a woman and get right down to work. Since you just got here. And all that. Yeah. Wise with sword in hand. Well, it looks like you and I are going to be very good friends. I know your language. Now, if only you could learn mine in return. But I'll tell you what, if I ever feel like expanding up to this part of Khazaria, which might fall under Magyar domination, then that we may consider. Unless I got some unruly people to imprison and get rid of, and then maybe I'll appoint more land to you. Look, for example, like say, this is hypothetical. Like, what if I get rid of Burzon? It's only for increased opinion, but not the lands of his culture. Sodomite? Hey! Blackmail him. Hey, I knew you were homosexual, but I didn't think you would go that far now, would you? Get those taxes back up to normal. During the daily management of my realm, I have learned of several different opportunities I could pursue. Each opportunity has great potential, but realistically I can only pursue one of them. I must determine what would ultimately give me the most value. Victor the Impaler? Oh, good God! That's a lot of money. I don't need no book artifacts. Just securing those trade deals will fill my treasury. Fill my treasury big time. Again, there is no other culture, no other territory that is known to be held by Radhanites. My lord, my beneficiary announces her arrival in a surprisingly loud voice. She proudly holds up a package securely wrapped in cloth. I returned from Europe with an artifact from my journey. I take the bulky handle into my hands and loosen the cords before peeling layer after labor of fabric. Inside is the hide of a rabbit. Rats tells you how she felled the vicious animal, while I continue to admire the hide for what must have been a majestic animal. The hide of the great rabbit of Reggio Calabria. So the tanned hide of a rabbit hunted in the plains of Reggio Calabria. Well, this came from this area down here, which is held by Sicilians. Yes. And of course, next door. I was about to say, are they finally gone? Nope, the Saldanids are still around, as you can see there. Are still there, but they're reduced to one county. Just give up, man. Spend a leg. Anyways, this is magnificent. And now she's gained the trait of adventurer. She's a bold fool, but she is my bold fool. So yes, the Sheikhdom of Camarda is now the last remnant of this Saldanid territory. After 129 years, although it's only a matter of time before they declare war on him. Which pretty much tells you, man, these guys actually had a much better run than anyone could have expected, because playing as these Saldanids, I never did it myself, but they say it's one of the hardest ever in terms of hardest starts. But they made most of it. Now, anyways, to the court. The hide of the great rabbit. 180 years is how long it lasts. Put it up there so everybody can see that up there. I'm happy with that. This gives me a little more renown. And some court grandeur bonus, even though we're not quite at the max, but every little bit helps. As we are ranked #1. The first in the world out of all the royal courts in terms of court grandeur and everything. I mean, I could up the fashion and the servants, but no, we need a much more sustainable income. So this is your lucky girl, huh? Well, have fun having your own dynasty that is local to the area. Because I wish I could do more for you to improve relations. Does it affect? No. I'm just looking, alright? I'm not going to actually give them independence. What's the matter with you? Talking about cultural acceptance, if there's other ways. I don't think so. You're just going to have to be patient. Until you reach up to 40, then we'll hybridize with them. But I doubt I would go with that name because there is no connection with Israelites. I mean, I'd rather keep the, like, an hypothetical. I would give it Turkic and Kibit order. This would still be the same. I would not give up the cause, but must pick pillars from both cultures, not counting shared pillars. Yeah, just hang on a moment, alright? I'm just looking. Don't want to give that up. Don't want defensive tactics, because we're not really defensive intensive. Would like to have this. Not giving up that horse lord's idea. This one had its uses early on, but now it's no longer necessary. Xenophilic sounds very good based on what we've been acting like, especially with cultural acceptance with other peoples. So I think that would be good. But not counting shared. So you're saying I would have to be egalitarian? Which, you know, in turn, we could use them and then have a hybrid culture with the Greeks, finally. And then there you have it. It's like, we'll get these innovations, which is something that we wanted. So, recognition of talent has been very good to us. But I'm not giving up those two ideas. But learning, education, and scholar give you some progress of culture fascination. Plus this, while I keep the heritage and language, which is I prefer that. Yeah, you got it. And of course we cannot forget that in here, Greek is the court language. Greek is the court language because of grandeur. Greek has become the administrative language of this due to the Orthodox influence, one would think. But coming soon, in 10 months, we will finally get public works. In which we are well on our way to the early medieval era now, but it's going to take 17 years. Ah, yes. It just pretty much tells you that 1000s AD is a brand new era for the Khaganate. That we are going away from our old Avar culture while adopting Radhanite elements, which in turn we ought to use that for, you know, Greeks. We don't have any Republican rulers other than mayors themselves, but go for it anyway. What is this? Exotic guys, a grand hall. My court is filled with room after room after room. And nothing even at some of our more impressive halls could go unused through much of this year. This much of architecture to style and decorate. Sure we can afford to splash out something modeled in radically different style. I mean, to be honest, as just keep it going, but slow it down a little. As much as that design looks fancy, but don't you feel that it's a bit rather out of place? It's like, shouldn't we have something that is of Byzantine design? Because I like the architecture in here, rather than the one that we have. Because that looks too Oriental, too Middle Eastern, too Iranian. And around here looks a little out of place. Unless you want to look over there, like say over in Italia, which obviously that's Mediterranean. Well, what about over in France? Well, looks too Western, so. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to show you this. And I never clicked this right now as in this playthrough. Tribal kingdoms and empires now have their own royal courts. Tribal courts. guess it's what they look like. Since this is the only example out there, but Khazaria for now? Well, obviously they look like Avar design. But again, Khazar Jewish. And if you were to look over there, which is a client game, as I said, it kind of looks like theirs compared to ours. But what about way over to the west in Urgara Han Chinese Kurmazda? What the? Obviously of their design as well. And then you look at down in southern India, and this is what an Indian court looks like. And of course I do see some naked people there, but you don't want to zoom in too far, but which would indicate that some of them are Japani, which means that there are zealous characters in the court, which is why they're naked. Only zealous characters can go naked. Same for the Dingabar Giants. Great Moravia, they use that court the way it looks. So I'm not sure what kind of design, but I would change it. Because, you know, again, it just looks out of place. Who did this to you? And for God's sakes, don't name him after me. If you want to have a line of geniuses, you could... Whoa there. I mean, it's not going to be around for long. Yeah, we can have a line of geniuses. But also, go find somebody with an inheritable trait that would be very, very grand. City, that's a mare. Uh-huh. About beautiful and genius children. Now you can all have together. I think you should do the same for the rest of your daughters. Bingo! Even though none of them are going to be inheriting anything. It's just, you know, spread the dynasty around. Go do something, even though it's already at the max. With the living members and such. Come in, pay your homage to me. Every time you do that, that gets the grandeur up. Well, she's the only one that's qualified. But again, you can't tell her to send her out on an adventure. She has to be inspired first. Oh, by the way, how old are you, son? 6 years old. Oh, there's one language you must learn. You gotta learn Israelite and Greek. Two of the most important languages you must know. You got it. Here we go again with this. Why would you honor that witch with the position of court, not me? Oh, come on, you're my wife. Are we really going to go through with this? You're going to give me that? Shut your mouth. One of these days, we're going to end the rivalry. Because I don't want you to hinder against me. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. It's coming. "10 days. But again, we're on our way to early medieval era now. We do not share the same religion as the Hiberno Norse. But if you want it immediately, then it'll take you 14 years. But I really don't care about what I could get. But we know what we could do to get the acceptance up between us. So I'm willing to ditch ruling caste. And we know as for us, it's going to take 16 years to get there. But we can still jump ahead while we can. Some months ago, Mayor Summer began clearing land and enforced our capitals to prepare for settlement. Trees are uprooted, paths are cut, and the ground is swaled. Swaled? Summer has now written Steward Ruxandra to request that her levy duties to be reduced. Being anxious to complete the works for the next hours, she hopes to instead recruit soldiers for labor. That's for the county over there. He tired of his smoke, he could do that. You know, there is nothing to invest except it's building, not holding. Speaking of holdings, there's a city there, but there is no temple. Build temple here. You'll gain a lot of piety for this. Piety. Aha! Sucker! No, you gotta build it first. Again, I'm still considering changing the design of the court. I'm still considering it. It's a wonder how I went from being a Grecophile to a, there's gotta be a word for that, there's gotta be a word that appreciates Israelite Jewish culture and all that. Only because they are ahead of time compared to us. And then in turn I can use that. But unfortunately it's likely I have to dump Bellicose, which had served us very well, but this maintenance thing is going to be a big issue. So we use that, and in turn, go adopt the Greek one. You know, we already have some degree of acceptance between them and us. And it looks like they have failed on their war. No, they ended in white peace. That opportunity is not lost. Remember you said you wanted to get faster cultural acceptance gain by giving areas of Greek culture more land? Well, there's still a case for that. So get Burgas. It'll take you 4 years. I don't care if we piss people off over there. Just do what you gotta do. Oh. Count Pannonian Avars doesn't like it. Is there someone better than her? No. She's avaricious. She recently became that, you know? So her stewardship only gotten better recently. Cultural acceptance boost is one of the side effects. Yeah, I figured it's about time to hold court. But this is the last time we're holding court in this old... Look at this design. Come on in, people. My courtier, Khatun. Still alive. She's doing poor right now. She approaches me with a spring in her step. A giant spring. My liege, Khatun says, full of excitement. I have a great idea that can bring you either money or fame. You have amassed quite a collection of artifacts. So why not put them on display? You could charge for viewing of your collection, or for free that more people view it. She clears throat before returning. People do have a tendency to want the things they see, so the downside might be that more people will try to claim your artifacts. Well, that's doubly unfortunate. It's not worth inviting the risks. Frontier fracas. An expeditioner is evidently somewhat of a stranger in this court, as I do not recognize her, and the eyes of Marshal Branimir have been on them since they first entered. My lord, I have come to declare that the people of Tumtarakan are refusing to pay the taxes you have levied upon us. In times past, our land and people were granted rights and privileges which your recent exactions ignore. We request that you address our concerns fairly, or else. Anyways. This is control related. Has nothing to do with their culture. But I'm a man of stewardship, so I would say, sounds like to me you may be misinterpreting some charters. So the control will go up a bit more, which I did not pay attention of the control that they actually have. And I'll be gaining even more money than I really need to. And I would gain tax successor for the next 20 years. Basically the rest of my life. Tax default ebbs away. A monster of Targoju. How do you say that? Because that's over there in Transylvania. A haggard-looking peasant now stands wondering. My lord, I beg for your help. A monster prowls in the mountains of Targoju, killing cattle and farmers alike. Few have seen it, but the mangled remains of its forefingers leave no doubt. It's clearly a huge wolf. As bloodthirsty as few have ever been seen. Please send your strongest hunters and save us from its jaws. Well, I guess I could spend the money. Oh, good God, why would I do that? Perhaps I could stand a chance to go kick that wolf's ass. But do I really want to risk? Because otherwise this would make us under him. No. My master of the hunt, Countess Mutlu, will look into it. Even though she lives in Crimea, in Kalos Limnan. There's a 100% chance that she'll slay that monster. I'll gain some grandeur for it. There you go. Now we're gonna definitely spend that wealth to exotize that grand hall. Grandiose deco. Several likely redecorating candidates present themselves. Those nearest and most noteworthy to me, the realms of Asosa Nicoletta, Desperate Zenobios, and Prince Zambat. Who's that? Oh, of Hayastan, Armenia. Which the design I could see just looks quite similar. And he's got a chest set to boot. Anyways. Selecting a starter is considered more renowned than my own court will be personally humbling, but lend me some of the foreign realms' air of grandeur. Conversely, emulating a lesser realm would show the magnanimity and build my legend abroad at the cost of some reputation at home. Which again, I am architect and humble. I'd be spending quite a lot of court grandeur for that. Or just refund the gold. And don't even think about it in the next 10 years. this is her visiting court. If only I had it emulate like hers. And whereas his doesn't look as much, but he's got a lot more furniture, which makes me feel jealous. And the Armenian, not much. I don't think it really changes appearance, does it? But I'll say the Byzantine Empires, people could use my charity. Because we've been such good friends for a long time. Oh, it's good that you're healthy. That medicine focus. She's about to become whole of body, so she's going to be around for a long time. So I'll spend some court granted I just recently earned. And I'll lose all the stress that I have. Again, it doesn't change the appearance overall, is what it says. That's just, wrong button. That's just, yeah. You redecorate a part of your palace in the style of another royal court. That's what that is. What? Squires tonight. My court musician approaches me, practically skipping along to a rhythm only she can hear. A crumb of your attention, my lord. I've prepared an all-male choir beyond compare. According to my new method, they not only sing, but wear tights, don ornate codpieces atop their glimmering loins, and dance in a synchronized fashion. All immense praising God, of course. I am certain you'll fund, if you fund the grand performance, it will most please the ladies of the court. This is my sister and court musician who says it. You have my coin. I eagerly anticipate the performance. Just adds a little bit of popularity to it. You know what? Let me see that. Just this view from there. I really like how there's a fireplace there. I really like that. Anyways, get out of here. At least everybody's been behaving well. Now you decided to have Greek as the court language for over there as well. That's because of me neighboring it. As if we're spreading the court language. See? We're spreading it. Well, one day I may have to switch back to the old court language of our native language, rather than Greek. Novgorod 2. Degraded artifact. There's a... My antiquarian approaches me with a wordy expression. My lord, I've grown increasingly concerned about your basic lantern and the state of utter disrepair it's fallen into. It's coming apart. In order to save it, I have a proposal. I've recently won a dusty scroll at dice from a shady character in a traveling fair. A very fortunate deal. Since its content played well into my budding interest in alchemy, the old scroll describes a secret potion that is sure to make any artifact even better than new. Please, let me try it. Well, it won't destroy it, but give it a shot. Sure, it can't get any worse than this. Wow. Very good. We're making great income here. Well, it's about time that I go on a pilgrimage. Because out of all the things I've done in my life, I have not gone to a pilgrimage. Jeez. think it's time for me to go yet. Mala, you name it. I'll go to Constantinople. It's just at a reduced price. Time to depart. My life is not complete until I make a pilgrimage to there. Another source of money. As my party prepares to break camp, I notice a massive commotion nearby. A naked woman has climbed on top of a large rock and is preaching to the assembled crowd. The original sin still stains our souls, my friends, but that need is not to be so. If we shed our garbs, we can recover the lost innocence of Adam and Eve. Then, and only then, will the Holy Spirit see fit to touch us and show us God's true love. A 40-year-old. Why on earth would I want to do that? Oh yeah? I'll challenge her to the theological debate. I convinced the preacher of her folly, and now she's converted to proper orthodoxy. Foolish girl. Here it is, city of world's desire. I finally stand on the hills of Constantinople, a glimmering jewel of civilization that echoes with the glory of the Roman Empire. It is truly a sight to behold. Near the center, I can see the Hagia Sophia, a great center of worship, which is often considered as the epitome of Byzantine architecture. It is far from the only wonder here, though. As I gaze out over the city, I marvel at the glories of God's creation. I have walked the holy path, and they've decided to give me a gift. St. Bridget's finger. It's just a Christian artifact. This repeated remains of a Christian saint acquired by Khagan while undertaking his pilgrimage to Constantinople, and revered as a token of luck and piety by Orthodoxy. I was crossing myself as I was making that motion. Still ongoing. It's been going on for 11 years? Didn't you learn? But it's good to be home. A fascinating cave. A few days ago, herders discovered a small cave in Borsod. Inside, they found several trinkets that would otherwise be of little value, such as wooden utensils, a few carved stones. There were even fragments of bones from an unidentified creature. Although the cave does not have anything to know, it wasn't clearly inhabited some time ago, or at least used as a stopping point for travelers or nomads. Its discovery caused quite a sensation, with several locals scouring to see what little things they would find for amusement. We should erect a small Orthodox shrine in a cave. I just recently made a pilgrimage, so keep the faith. Let's have another city here. Be sure to build guild halls. You actually made crop fields yourself? Good to know. Pastures as well. This is my wife. Khagan. We've had our differences in the past, but don't you agree that it's time to let bygones be bygones? My wife Gestures from me to her. Whatever is between us, let's start anew. Yeah, let us. It was a stupid argument anyhow. Accusations of sorcery. Blood-stained cloth, crow's feathers, strange smelling concoctions. This is the evidence presented to me by a group of villagers from Galat as proof that Wilhelm uh, has been practicing sorcery in his hut on the outskirts of the village. The villagers claim that his evil works must be the cause of their bad weather and they're calling for his execution. The evidence is circumstantial. Release him. I'm a popular figurehead, you know. Still gonna have that popular opinion no matter what. While traveling, I come across a modestly sized graveyard serving a small town of my realm. Out of respect for the dead, or at least a sense of obligation, I pay my respects to the dead. To think that even a humble settlement like this, that so many generations of people could have passed and gone by. Truly it is a profound thing to reflect on those who come before us. So it is. So it is. You're still my guardian, right? I'm still your guardian, yeah. Soon I'll start beginning events from him, so I can raise that son to be right. Now you learn the ever-important Israelite language. Poor, poor. Fine. And you must learn Greek also. Second most important. In addition to ours. Oh yeah, we'll get there faster than with the Greek. Right. Waited patiently for the throne of rival has been announced in Ashburn. He kneels in deference among his other hopes to serve the Kudza called Khaganate, and obviously great contributions as the vassal lord of the Khaganate. Though the count has clearly practiced the Greek vows, mispronounces several sanctions, humorously changing their meaning and leaving my courtiers stifling teders. Good effort. It is not an easy language. As stated before. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Did you see that? This is one of the side effects. Big jump! Big jump. So, let's do the math here. 2, 3. So it's going to take about 3 years until we have 40% culture acceptance, and we will finally hybridize the culture and get those 4 innovations. So we can have all the tribal era, or late antiquity, fortification buildings and military buildings. And get at least one early medieval era there. But remember, not counting shared pillars. So we'll have a final examination of what that will look like. So no doubt as we will enter into the next century, this will definitely be a new era for the Khaganates. And also you gotta be matrilineally married also, because I don't want to see any more adultery in these parts. Just have a lot of great children. And I still wish to expand into Greek lands, because as the acceptance would be going down a little, I mean, I would rather hybridize the Greek than with Radhanite. The Radhanite thing is just a compromise, because we've realized of how long it's taking. But if we can take over lands that are culturally Greek away from Bulgaria, We'll be good neighbors. And you know what? There's another thing I'd be willing to do. After we give lands to Greeks, to appoint those local nobles there, just increase cultural acceptance, and then we would have that Greco-Avar culture that we've really wanted. Don't make me laugh, I exclaim. Heraclius says the joke anyways. I almost die of laughter. It was a good joke. Too good, in fact. Tell it again. She has the whole body now, even though she had a bad omen recently, but please remain in good health, because you are needed in this world. And she's looking forward to take some territories back. Anna. Yeah, Anna or Anna. She's got this prowess, not good at sneaking around. I don't know about you, but I doubt I have any weapons for me to spare to give it to you on your adventure. Highly doubt it. Or some armor, just to, you know, help me, because again, I gotta get rid of things. Since I heard you're going on an adventure, but I fear you may get into situations that you must fight, so I'm gonna give you the mail, and 1 second, and then we'll send you on your way. Is considered a master by her peers because I helped improve her skills, you see? Now she can handle a fight. And she'll be going to Western Europe. See you in a bit. Golden uptone. Monthly income per stress level. 4 more years and then I'll become an Avars vassal. Alright. Is there anything you want me to keep an eye on, Jenny? Well, I got another hide, but... You know what, just to make it look like I'm decorating, almost make it look like a hunting lodge, give me another one of those. And if I get one more venturer who's very, very good, then I want something really unique. Those bastards did it. They subjugated that area. Along with their strange goods, merchants bring tall tales from distant lands, unverifiable, full of wonder. A group of Khazar peddlers purport to have brought Bavarian objects, said to come from a faraway court of the great ruler, King Ernst of Aquitaine, no less. Karadak, a leading trader, grants Dag. This unique armor could be yours, for a special price, of course, great Khagan. A likely yarn indeed. I'd look to Khatun for guidance. There's certainly no fake money. The work is indeed Aquitanian and of high quality. Well then, fetch my coin purse. I'm willing to pay big money for this. The armor is splendid. Oh, splendid indeed. Compare that to this. This is a masterwork armor. 1 less prowess, but more injury resisted, so that'll do. Thank you very much. 1 new court artifact. Huh? Which one? Am I crazy? I don't know. Somebody wants to kill my knight because he is a bastard, maybe? Son of the giant. So stop spending so much money, damn it. So I'm very happy that my Duchess steward got that side effect to have a culture acceptance boost. Really happy with that. Why do you do this? What do you have against people? Not me. Get that thing away from me. The stuffed fox has disgusting snow on its lips, baring vicious teeth at me. All the gift was being sent anonymously. It's not too hard to understand that Bogna was behind it. Whoever, uh, who would ever like this kind of gift? I received some money for that. Hey. In case of emergencies, alright? I don't need to get money off of my own children. Accused of claim fabrication. Drop dead, will you? Need a better patriarch. So you got about 18 months. $13 and we will reach the early medieval era. But we still want to get ahead of time by... It's like, yes, we will have enough acceptance in Radhanites in 2 years. But for the Greek, we could still salvage it. In the sense of, let's expand into Greek culture territories in Bulgaria. I do not have the means to try to, use my piety to just make up claims if I was a scholar. But I'm not a scholar kind of guy now, am I? We got another adventurer. What's up with women adventurers lately? This one's much better skilled. She's a novice physician and is a widow. You got it. Always willing to invest on their adventures. I may not be long for this world, but make the most of it. I took Kurt out playing with a bow, and to my surprise he ran into a wounded doe. He later lashed out at me, thinking I staged the whole encounter as some kind of test. Do not be paranoid like Krum, your older brother. So, do you want martial or stewardship? But to be quite honest, I think it would be better if you were to follow the same path as I, but we shall see. Ambitious, I mean, you'll get less stress gain compared to, other things. Sadistic is bad for the Orthodox faith, and plus the general opinion. So I would say, then show me that you could have killed an animal yourself. It's okay to be ambitious, but don't be either paranoid nor ambitious. But I'll take ambitious any day of the week. Didn't I already? But wants to go to the Tarim Basin. Okay, now that did it. I could have sworn I thought I already sent her out. Now, we know the Tarim Basin. That's way over there. Out there. I know a guy that did a series in here. Now, I want to possess something truly unique. Go get something grand. Out there from that far away of a land. Herculean. Many more grandsons that'll one day serve the country as knights. There you go, that's what I want. Look at you. You got so much money you have no idea what you're gonna do with. Plus you're a bad guy, so I deserve to get money off of you. Glad I'm Orthodox one day. It looked like it would be a tedious evening once the feast entertainment was over. Bogna saved the day by suggesting reading from the improvement of the moral qualities. I also love that one. Sucker. If only I was the guy with the greedy trait, which I don't think it's a sin. No, greedy is not a sin. It is in Islam and Hinduism. I receive a mischief for my adventure with words embellished so I could see in her theater of my mind. Amidst my panting in the desert heat, I've discovered some pristine waters, the very sight of which compel me to remove all my clothing, rather than take it as offense. My guide chuckled in quiet understanding, and began to sketch my form on the page. Our fellow travelers on the tour waved palm leaves to cool me down, an act of fan service. We spent many happy hours splashing around. In the next village, I hired a weaver to capture a moment of paradise. I send you a memory with this courier. A nude tapestry. A nude depiction of this 50-year-old woman here at a beach oasis, fanning herself with a leaf, glistening with crystal clear droplets. Whoever's the owner of it increases a slight attraction opinion. Intrigue, lifestyle experience. Or everybody who is lustful in court. I mean, for God's sakes, don't... Oh, wait a minute. That's, Huh? Bald here. What the hell? This is the same character, but it's just odd. But, anyways, I'll just say, the whole court must know this exotic pastime. This is for the grandeur. Stupid idea. Plus, does it really depict it as such? I mean, look, I'm just only going to put it up there temporarily. Does it really show that? Or is it just nonsensical? No, it's just more that I can't agree. If you're the kind of guy who is desperate to have children or whatnot, then I suggest you would put this Avar tapestry back up there. That Greek harpy has no morals, one would think. It's like, I mean, look, Tarim Basin, and they say depicted an oasis. I mean, there is a few oases out there. Places like Kashgar, or Khotan, or Hotan, depending on your pronunciation. Cheren, or even Luntai. Karasha comes to mind. Kucha. I memorized these places because I used to play there before. Not in CK3, but in CK2. So, I'm only keeping it for keeps. I'm not a lustful man. And plus, if she got any ideas, I'd just be saying, hey, what do you think you're doing with that thing? Where did you get that come from? And meanwhile, this woman, another 50-year-old. Again, I'm an old man. Am I not allowed people who are in their 50s? I mean, don't get any ideas, people, you viewers. Wherever I go, Bogna, daughter of Countess Boyana of Rodopes, is sure to follow. That look in her eyes, the words on her lips, I know exactly what she is after. Oh, dear. know, adultery is kind of bad around here because you are a married person. Although she is unlanded, it's just she's got nothing better to do. But I'll just say this. Never! The world will know of her perverted nature. Ain't I a hypocrite? A man who is now the owner of the nude tapestry is also the one who told her, hey, get out of here, you pervert. uh, such is life. %39%, so one more year and then they'll be with you. But in the meantime, well, the culture says we'll be going down very slowly, but we may start going back up in the future. There's something particular about my vassal mare somewhere. There's the way she smiles, the unmistakable appeal of her laughter, or perhaps her noble and shaker composure. I can't quite put my finger on it. At least one thing no for sure. When I'm in her presence, I find it hard to focus on anything else. Another woman in her 50s, and she's also a fornicator. She's ill, but she'll get well soon. There's no need for a romance or seduction, but I refuse to be distracted by any woman. I'm trying to focus on money, damn it. I can't be thinking of women right now. And yet, in my private time, I look at the portrait of that woman who is... My lord, a message from your adventurer. The servant says, handing me a scroll. My search led me to the oasis of Lun Tai. I know where that is. They are notoriously wolf-infested. Might have a good reason to think that my goal is near. Expect my return soon. Signed, I'll get the scroll reads. She is surely ambitious to choose a risky path. That woman doesn't know how to quit, huh? But it's all up to her. Either pick this for prowess to slightly higher quality, or try to avoid any wolves. By God, I hope she doesn't have to fight one. She's not wearing any armor. She slaughters a charging wild wolf. That woman is wild. My goodness. What an episode this is. And also, to tell you the truth, people, no, I am not aroused. Maybe you male viewing audience, or even perhaps whatever, it's just... I don't know. She's in her 50s, so don't get any ideas. An additional payment in a recent trade, I find myself possession of a large herd of cattle. I've been assured that the animals are of highest quality, but the question remains what should be done with the remains. It is a beautiful herd, but it could be larger. Oh! My breeding project fails. Hey, it was a very good chance. Alright, see it done. At any cost, which you can now sell the title's decision. Which, what that does is, you could sell trivial titles. Exchange prestige for gold. It yields unpredictable results. $19 months. I will end this episode until these two inspiration projects are finished. I know it's a 2-hour episode, but that's what's going to be. And plus, I don't know how much longer I got to live, but no doubt that we'll go after Burgess in the next episode. Put it here. These are tumultuous times for the county of Baranya. Report after report arrives of dealing dire straits in the area, and peasants started muttering about alternate solutions. A little bit of dread helps. Increase the tax as punishment. We'll head to Burgos soon, and appoint a Greek noble when the matter is finished. on in, Branimir, and pay me some money. We speak Greek in this house. $11 years old now. Increased the stewardship by 1, so I may consider giving you a stewardship education instead of a marshal again. Only because we still want to be ahead of time and we still want to make a lot of money and hold a lot of land and among other things. But we shall see until he picks up the next trait. Because I'm really thinking he should go for continue the stewardship tradition instead of martial. Now I'm exalted among men. Alright, I'll take it. You can name it after me. After all, who would want to be like me? You know what? Screw it. Every little bit helps. Here it is. I haven't heard from you since the entire time I sent you. So I take the bulky bundle from the hands and loosen the cords before peeling layer after layer of fabric. Inside is the skull of a large bear. I ask Anna for details, and she regales the story of how she felled the massive beast. Well, since we haven't heard from you, and I guess you didn't need to tell me. You did what you set out to do, and you did it. The skull of the stalking bear of Vizcaya. An impressive skull larger hunted in the barony of Vizcaya. The skull is masterfully preserved and attached to a masterfully decorated walnut mount. This is magnificent. Put that up here. Makes it look like you're in the. Makes it look like you're in the damned hunting lodge. The old ceramic tinker was destroyed because I just let it, because that thing ain't worth much to me. Yeah. A spectacular courtier. Claimed to be in exile for Radhanite. Princess Ayatunde. Well, that is far away. Has appeared in the court accompanied by a vast array of exotic animals and has already performed incredible works of charity throughout the streets of Visegrad. The magnanimous wealthy foreigners declared an intent to marry my son Krum. Really? As much as the court is abuzz with enthusiasm for this exotic princess, not everyone is convinced. My cousin Countess Mutlu claims to have never heard of the distant land that the foreigner claims to be from and cannot find any of the maps. She, along with other like-minded followers, she has denounced Princess Ayatunde as a charlatan and insists that we punish her for attempting to deceive Krum into marrying a lowborn. Fabulous she Ayatunde. She may be a pagan. She's a treacherous villain. I don't trust her. No, sir. Thank you for the visit, but you should leave. You're gonna be trouble. How long does it take? 17% chance of progressing each month. Son of a beeswax. Keep it up. Kurt came to me complaining about Kaiser's bullying him. He started asking how someone to get hanged. Felt like they should be. Arbitrary just like me. Lowers the stress gain. Well, your will is the only law that truly matters. I guess you're gonna get that from me. A new patriarch. 20, there you go. In the meantime, convert one of those counties that has not been Christianized yet. Much better. Almost finished. Again, we'll close this episode as soon as she returns with that artifact, as she's still out in the Tarim Basin. Out of the nude. Because she is crazy. I'm not aroused, I'm just like, what is the matter with this person? Bodja. Herculean and intelligent. And of course, don't forget to start the war before I expire. I may finally be the first ruler to pass away naturally, instead of getting wounded. There's one more language you must learn, and it's rather important here. Where is it? Yes. Dacian Vulgar. Stretching. You know what? Before I may pass, simply for the second, let's host our very first and only exotic feast. Welcome, friends. Let's just celebrate the life of me. I barely managed to sit down in my seat when I hear how Emily, Mayor Ontag. It would seem that he and Mayor Papich has really gotten to his own targets, received proper manhandling. Until I realized that the Merrill dance paid the way to straight to the Kunzakal house banner. Most of my guards separated, the two hissing and clawing at each other. The duo presented in front of me, all throwing the blame on one another, starting a fight. These things happen. It wasn't my favorite piece. I could lose some dread out of that. So I'll say, hey, how could you? You pay that money to me. How dare you cause damage to that house banner? That is a disrespect. If I was a sadistic ruler, I would punish him severely. She had too much to drink, even if she insisted on us how slow she was. Something rises proved too much of her. Now I'm covered in stinking vomit. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, too. Don't you know who I am? Oh, the wine. Why can't this feast go... God dang it. The wine merchant should still be in town. Well, I'm an eager reveler now. You have an increased chance of getting that, so be careful with that. Just a few more months and then we'll be out of this episode finally. It's gone long, but it's worth it. Probably one of the more entertaining episodes that we've ever had in largely peacetime affairs. Finally, she's back with no clothes still. I should get her dressed after this episode, you know, use the barbershop and all that. But anyways, I returned from the Taran Basin with an artifact of my journey. I take the bulky bundle to my hands and loosen the cords, feeling layer after layer fabric. Inside is an artifact unlike anything I've seen. She smiles proudly. A detailed work of scholarship analyzing the Buddhist teachings, part of the Pali Canon. Well, that is magnificent, but it's a Buddhist artifact, you know. Let me see. No, you don't have to be a Buddhist for that. So, a detailed work of scholarship analyzing the Buddhist teachings, part of the Pali Canon, adds more renown. I guess I'll put that here instead of whatever. Again, let's end the episode on January 1st. We hope you people have enjoyed this long episode, but it was well worth the time. And with that, and in the next episode, a new era will soon begin. There's It's now highly likely that I will hybridize a culture with the Radhanites, now that we have the degree of acceptance that we need, until I figure out what combination I should choose. And in addition, we will enter into the early medieval era in 10 years' time, getting the last few innovations as soon as we form a hybrid culture. And then maybe in turn, we'll try to get back together with the Greeks to get their cultural acceptance. So the decision is, what's it going to be? Greco-Avar or Radhanite Avar? We'll have to find out soon. But until then, so long for now.